Greetings, one and all, and Happy New Year. Here's to 2024, which is an H year. So I wonder what this is going to bring. And it's also going to be from the Chinese style, Chinese Year of the Dragon. So live long and prosper, Bruce Lee. So we're having a dragon year and number 8 year, which I always thought number 8 was quite fortuitous. And I think the Asian people see it as a lucky number, where we've had quite a few unlucky years lately. But life is up and down, isn't it, for all of us? And by doing this kind of Gurdjieff work, I was hoping that we're helping each other to wake up. And what I'm trying to pass on to people is that we need to awaken to conscience. And I feel like we need to send that vibration out, especially in this time where we seem to have so much war going on. A lot of people fighting each other in their own individual lives, not necessarily a war, but there seems to be a lot of antagonistic behavior going on. People not thinking before they're speaking, people not thinking before they're throwing punches and such like. So we need to send out that vibration of awaken to conscience and what is one doing when one is out and about in this world. Even the people that are asleep, the sleepwalkers of this world, can pick up that vibration of awaken to conscience. It might tingle a bit at them and make them feel a bit, I don't like this feeling, but it will work down into their subconscious and then come back up to their consciousness and hopefully help them to awaken to who they are, what this planet is, and what their conscience is trying to tell them. I've also been working with various people who wanted to help in their social lives. They were struggling with people, and so I've been trying to help people to engage with other people. And again, that all comes down to finding out what kind of people suit you. That we're always going to meet people that tread on our toes. We're all going to meet people that make us feel a bit unwelcome. We're always going to meet people that make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up as soon as you meet them. And by doing the Gurdjieff work, this helps us to be aware as to why that person does that to us. It's kind of like the old walking in the other person's shoes. Though sometimes walking in another person's shoes can be quite difficult when we start trying to put our own ideas of how we would have led that life or how we would have treated that person, or how we would have reacted to someone, rather than understanding why other people act like they do. But also with engaging with people, we learn how to act and not react. As Gurdjieff talks a lot about, we see what's going on in our inner selves while we're putting on a mask, which I've never really liked doing, putting on masks. I think we need to be truthful and honest with people, but sometimes it's very difficult to be like that, especially the sleepwalkers of this life. It's easier just to put on a mask, like Gurdjieff says, and give them the reaction they want, where inside you're dealing with what your own inner reaction is to what's going on. Because some people, like the sleepwalkers of this world, they can't see what we're doing and why we're being like we are. They just don't understand why we're not following them and copying them or being like them, because obviously every sleepwalkers like to be herd people. They all copy each other. They're copycats. They do what the person in front of them does, then the person behind them copies them, and they all feel safe and secure in this little environment of everybody's doing the same thing. It's keeping up with the Joneses type of style, because they feel that if we're all doing the same thing, then we're all thinking, feeling, and being the same. Well, we know by doing the Gurdjieff work that as individuals, we do not think, feel, or be the same as anybody else. We are individuals. We are independent people. And the whole point of doing this work is to free us of that kind of being kept in that kind of herd mentality. We don't want to be like that. We're throwing off all our chains and unlocking our fetters so that we can be the real individual, the true person that we are. where most of the sleepwalkers in life are putting on masks and pretending to be something just so they fit in. Well, we know we don't necessarily fit in because they're all running a lunatic asylum. But if we could make it a better world, then that suits everybody and makes everyone feels free and an individual and free to be themselves rather than having to copy everybody else, it would be a nicer world. Though I do also understand there's a lot of people out there that do copy other people because they cannot think for themselves, which is fine. You know, I've met a lot of people that they just don't have a great intellect, but they have a fantastic emotional balance, or you know, they're very good physically, and sometimes they need a bit of guidance, and they do follow other people because they just don't know what to do themselves, which is why we need great leaders and great people for them to imitate rather than the fools that are everywhere in this world that most people try to imitate, as we can see from the social media side of things, you know, and how people are being affected of how they look or what they're wearing by people like the Kardashians and things like that. I can't believe I've just said that on one of my shows, but you know, people are putting on pedestals, I think, the wrong people. But that's because we're in a materialistic world where people are being taken away from spirituality and instead are being shown that they must, it's all about the self, but it's not the spiritual self, it's the materialistic self, where we're doing this work, where we're learning to reconnect with the divine source, whilst being aware that we are here as a material body on this planet. We are once again navigating our way through the material world, but reaching up for the higher realms where these people that I've just mentioned, that are the sleepwalkers in life, they're living for this planet only and living on this life only, where we're aware there's other lives out there. So I want to encourage people to try and look at themselves and throw off your burdens. Look at what it is that's holding you back from doing things. I've been meeting a lot of people in the last year who I've seen have a great sadness about them, can't seem to move on in life. And then when I get to know them well, or you know, learn about what their lives have been like, I'm not saying I'm sitting there digging deeper into their lives, but I do try to find out why people are sad or miserable. And I've learned that a lot of people are holding on to burdens and things that they should have let go of a long time ago. We can't drag the past into the future. And when we're living here in the now, in this moment, we need to understand that the past has happened. We can work with it and try and rethink how we would have dealt with that in a better way, just in case that we are caught up in, well, the reincarnation cycle, or the we live this life again and again and again cycle. And we can then work on what happened in the past. If something did affect you in a bad way, perhaps visualize it having a better ending, rather than many people go over and over and over again and the same thing. They reenact what's happened in the past that affected them badly, and then how that affected them badly starts building and building that negative feeling, and then it's like a burden that one's holding on to. And we need to be able to throw off these burdens, forgive the past, forgive yourselves for any actions you've done in the past, forgive other people what they've done in the past, so that we can then go forward with a lighter load, because we're trying to become light beings and light bodies. And someone is trying to message me. Let me just tap this off. Right, let's turn that off. Okay, so there's probably someone wanting to download. I was going to say download or upload. People are holding on to their suffering, as Gurdjieff says, and I'm noticing this more and more and more. And I know the last few years have been difficult for us all, so it's like it's been giving us another new problem to have with what's been happening in the last few years, and just adding all that to all the shit and the burdens that we've already got. But if we want to go forwards, we need to deal with obviously our burdens and the dark side of ourselves, or what we've been going through and what we're holding on to. We need to be freer. So in a way, I'm saying we need to start seeing with light eyes, looking at things with light rather than with darkness. And normally when people look in the backwards in time to their past, they're looking with darkness in their eyes because they're regretting or whatever, holding on to the past in a dark way. And that is stopping them going forward. So in this now moment, we need to be able to just let go, throw off them burdens, be the person you want to be. And when I'm saying about looking with light, I do see a lot of people that I've been working with or hanging out with this year. It's kind of difficult to say, but I know they don't watch these videos, so because they don't want to help themselves and they don't want help in themselves. They like to hold on to their suffering, but I do see that they're looking at everything with darkness. And hopefully you, because you're doing the Gurdjieff work, are trying to work and look at things with light. You know, these people that are holding on to their burdens, they see everything very black and white. We all know that life should be full of multicolors. And if you're going forward with a more light-hearted attitude, then you will see more light and see all the different colors in that light. But if you're going through with a doom and gloom attitude, everything's going to darken in on yourself, and it's very difficult to see past the clouds of doom, the clouds of darkness that kind of obfuscate and kind of make it difficult to see. It's like they put these dark clouds cover in front of your eyes to stop you seeing what else is out there. And we need to take off them, you know, like horses in olden days used to have blinkers to stop them seeing what's going on over here and what's going on over there, so they just go forwards. Well, we need to take off them blinkers so we can see the whole realm. But one other thing I wanted to also do was to try and champion the people that have been working on themselves this year. And I've heard some people that have had some wonderful experiences and can see how the work has changed them, the Gurdjieff work. And I really want to champion them and say, well done. But I'm not going to say your names, obviously, because that's all egotistic. But we need to also champion ourselves for doing this work and moving forward and doing something about ourselves and helping our role on this planet and our role in the cosmos and our role with his endlessness, with the divine source. You know, so we need to champion ourselves for that. Also champion freedom, to be free, because that's one of the major things of doing this work, is we're releasing ourselves from all the laws that are on this planet, because this planet's quite far away from his endlessness. So there's more laws working upon us. But as we waken up, we can see through those laws in a way, and we start working in a more harmonious way, and the laws lessen on us. It is quite interesting to see how that difference happens. You know, shit still happens, accidents still happen, but we're a bit more aware and awake when they're coming. And sometimes we even notice them when they're coming. So we have to keep on working on our own freedom and releasing ourselves from these chains and burdens and these fetters that this earth, this materialistic world tries to keep us with, keep us chained to, keep us here. We want to be free. But one of the other things I'm quite concerned about is we need to send out the peace vibration. You know, we need to cease war, cease fire, cease all weapons. Weapons need to be put down. But again, to do that, we need to send out the vibration of awaken to conscience. We might be awakening to our conscience, but we need to help others to awaken to their conscience, because once they do, they will put down their weapons. They will see their foes and their enemies as other human beings, which is one of the main problems of this planet. Many of these warring factions don't see that the people they're fighting against are other human beings. So for this year that's coming, 2024, let's stay positive, let's release our burdens, free ourselves from our chains, champion freedom, and bring peace to this world. So stay awake, don't be controlled, and save your soul.